Oh, what a beautiful morning it is with a nice hot cup of Joe. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to do the final review of a third component in a three-component system that I use for a bug-out bag. In earlier videos, I demonstrated the energy pack, showed you what the contents were, and I also showed you my machete, which is my second component. And since then, what I've added to that is just a good World War II trench tool. So now I've got the final to review here. This is a 25-pound chest pack that I came up with as something that is best suitable for me in how I intend to transit through a bug out situation. I want to have things that are up front, things that are accessible, and things that will aid and facilitate my transition from an area with resources over into an area without resources or very scarce resources, so that I'm able to successfully transit from point A to point B. Now, this is on a frame that many of you might recognize. I've simply turned it upside down, so this would rest on my hips in a normal configuration, but I've turned this into a chest pack, so by turning it upside down, this rests on my chest. And with the cross strap configuration, it eliminates the need to have a belt, and it fits very snugly. It can also be worn as a backpack, so it does have a certain amount of versatility there. But for all intent and purposes, I intend to use this as a chest pack. So the frame that it sits on is aluminum, and how I've strapped things to my frame is either by a reusable zip tie right here, or simply using Velcro. So let's go ahead and get started with what is on my pack. We'll start on the bottom here. What I have is a Brunton compass, and with this compass, I'm able to navigate if I have a map. So I do have a map with coordinates in here. And this, with a good watch that is accurate to within a second, I'm able to get my longitude. And then latitude, without a watch, I'm able to capture the angle of the sun and translate that into latitude and longitude coordinates on a map. So I've used this in the field, and it's accurate to within 30 seconds of DMS time. So that gets me in the ballpark of where I am. Especially useful if I'm transiting through areas without highways. You know, I almost think that in America you do not need a compass. All you need is a map, because you're eventually going to run into a highway, right? And that, with landmarks, you can pretty much find out where you are. But I've just run into a habit of using navigation, and although it's not an absolute necessity, I believe that when you're transitioning into an area without resources, that this just gives me the advantage along with a good map. So that is the compass. Up here on the left side, I will start with the K-bar, and then moving over is a tourniquet. And here are Bic lighters. I've got 4 inside here. It's just the easiest way to keep a fire. And I do have other fire starting methods that are behind in my hygiene pack. However, this is the easiest. And then in the middle, I have a multi-tool, a good Leatherman's there. And then to the right is a Sawyer Mini. And then this white tube that you see is part of a water distillation kit, because I do manufacture colloidal silver in the field, and if I run across seawater or contaminated water, as long as it's not a metal, you are able to distill that water and use that in the manufacture of colloidal silver, as well as drinking, right? Just a means of helping you purify water. And then there's a, behind here in the frame, I'm not sure if you can see this here, this is a stainless steel container, and it has a lid that is adapted to this silicone tube, so that I can run that tube over to a steam capture area, and it will take that steam and just, you know, drip it into a cup. And then on the right, I have a good quality saw, and this is to convert brush into a shelter or whatever it might be. Now, up here is a good fire starter kit, and then I have a small, you know, just a means of, it's a spade, but just a means of doing trenching for cooking or whatever it is. I do have a grill. And then here, very valuable, is a monocular, because when I transit, I want to avoid problem areas, and being able to scout ahead of you and to both sides and behind you is not only important when you want to conceal your move, but it's very important to just avoid conflict. So part of a bug out strategy is going to be wanting to do so in a stealthy manner, especially if you're entering a state where the public is panicked and there might be ambushes or whatever it is, things that you want to avoid. And then on this side is a 1 quart GI canteen. It's got the cook pot. It's got an Nalgene bottle, and I keep that Nalgene bottle full of colloidal silver. Again, it's got a multi-use of water. Not only as a disinfectant for any scrapes or whatever, but also to ingest. So in the opening days of a bug out situation, you're more likely, more prone to be injured, because you're entering an environment where it's not going to be familiar to you, and your chances of injury do rise, they are greater. So that helps with that. And it also alleviates having to make or manufacture colloidal silver in the field if you can carry a little bit with you. And on this side, I have a K-bar. So that pretty much wraps up the forward end of this chest pack. It does have good carabiners that can be multi-purposed out. On the back, the yellow bag is a trauma kit, and then down below is a multi-purpose kit. It has all my hygiene items. Hygiene is very important in the field, and I focus on areas that could fail. First and foremost for me is dental care. So I make sure that I've got toothbrushes, I'm packing for 2 people here. So toothbrushes, salt that I can use. I carry a lot of salt, not only for cooking and to keep those electrolytes going, but also to serve as a toothpaste. Mixed with a little water, make a little paste out of it. And then also dental floss. Now the dental floss can be reused, don't throw it away. You can boil it if you feel that you need to. If not, you can just reuse it and wrap it around your finger, put it in your pack, and use it until it falls apart, basically. Secondary to that, I do have a bar of soap. It's a colloidal silver bar of soap that kills bacteria, and I'm just focusing on the areas that I need to wash. There are no Hollywood showers to be taken, so you focus on your hair areas, your head, your armpits, your groin, your butt, and that's it. Once every other day or every 3 days, depending on what you can tolerate. And then there is a good powder, should you develop a groin rash, that will stop you in your tracks. So you just want to have something like that, or at least I do, especially in the initial 30 days of a bug out situation. And then a nail clipper is part of my EDC. I just keep it in my pocket, and In addition to that, I do have thermal regulation back here. I have a set of clothing, and things I focus on are my feet. So I want to have good socks, quality socks that are not going to trap moisture in my feet, but that I can rotate. So those to me are my primary hygiene areas, and as well as thermal regulation. And when you're going through, I want to be able to do a change of clothing, and if I find an area to do some washing, I'll wash the pair that I had and then don a new pair, and then that way I can, it's not really for so that you don't stink so much as it is to maintain your body in working condition, because illness is the last thing that I want to have. And if I can do everything that I can to prevent that, then that is why I focus on those hygiene areas. So my intent is not to cover everything in this pack, because everyone has their own needs and their own requirements and things that you have to think through, and everything is dependent on your skill level and what you can do in the field. So this pretty much concludes my chest pack, and if you have any questions, please drop those below. I would be happy to discuss anything or things of that nature. So this is the Cold War Sailor. Thank you for watching. Out.